This episode is probably one of the most important episodes I'm ever going to do. It's for a specific group of people. It's for anybody who is selling their knowledge, their expertise, their know-how to clients, whether you're a solopreneur or multinational. If you're a coach, a consultant, an accountant, a lawyer, a marketing consultant, a copywriter, business advisor, whatever you are, this is an episode just for you. It's one of the most important episodes I'll probably ever do. One of the biggest things that you will be struggling with is getting a consistent flow of the right leads. And you will have found 1,000,001 people will have pitched you lead generation. You will have found that you've seen tons of ads on social media talking to you about how you can 10x your business, get to 100K in 30 days, how one person's living by the beach, living a millionaire rock star lifestyle with their Lamborghini. You'll have seen all of this stuff. I want to share with you my journey on some of that stuff. So I've, over the years, literally, anytime I see one of those ads, anytime I see one of those things, and guys, don't lose me here, because this is important, because I'm going to show you how to fix that lead generation problem. I'm going to tell you how to fix that lead generation problem in this podcast, but I want to kind of set the scene here. What a lot of these people do is they sell you something that's, for most people, unachievable. And when it doesn't work, it's like, oh, it's you, it's this, it's that, you need to work on this. There will always be a reason why lead generation doesn't work. But let me just have an honest moment with you. Lead generation, getting people to say, yeah, I need you, or I want to know more, or I'm curious about you, is actually something that's very straightforward. And I said this to a group of our students yesterday. I said, Maverick isn't actually a LinkedIn or social media company. What we really do is give you clarity around how to talk, how to produce the content that speaks to your audience. That's most people's issue. It's not I don't know how to work LinkedIn. It's not how do I work Instagram. It's the underlying issue is I don't know how to talk to my audience. I don't know how to define them. I'm lost in them. I'm confused. Should I talk to this group of people or this group of people? This is where lead generation goes wrong. And I'll give you another example. If I can focus a client's message, so somebody comes to me, they work one-to-one with me, or they work in our group programs, I will help them focus their message. And one of the biggest objections I see is that people don't want to narrow down. I don't mean niche, because you can target and service lots of different industries at once. But in order to land a punch of a message in front of a target audience, you have to focus in on who are they, what are you going to sell to them, and why do they need it. Now, you'd think that was common sense, but when it's our own business, when it's our baby, we have this thing where we worry and we get afraid of focusing on one group of people, because what happens if we miss somebody else? What if by focusing on that group over there, these people don't think we can help them? And we fill our heads with all of this stuff that ties us up in knots, to the point where what we do is we try to do a happy medium, and we come out with generic stuff. That's the first problem. We can't define ourselves. We struggle to define ourselves. We're afraid to define ourselves. And so we come out wishy-washy. That's the first one. The second issue, which is equally important, is we talk to ourselves. We talk to ourselves. We communicate in a way where basically we're appealing to our own way of thinking. And I see big companies doing this too. So if you've done this, don't beat yourself up, right? Don't beat yourself up. Big companies are doing this too. They're talking to themselves, or they're talking to their competitors. They're sharing information that is not relevant to their clients. The clients don't care. The prospects don't care. They don't care about your award. They don't care about your badge of what accreditation you've got. They're not going to pay attention to any of that stuff. It's all what I would call third-tier information. In other words, it's useful to have. It supports the proposition, but it isn't the proposition. It isn't the value for the client. It's reassurance. So what sometimes people do is they focus on trying to reassure people that they're the right choice before actually helping people see that they're the right choice. And, human beings decide with emotion and then justify with logic. And very often what we do with our message is we start with the logic and then try and appeal to the emotion. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So our message is confused. Let me give you one more example of how that plays out. So lots of people come to me and they say, Dean, it's really great what you've done in terms of being yourself on LinkedIn, building that profile. By no means am I one of the big dogs on LinkedIn, but I've built out a place where I can be me and people get to know me and they either like me or they don't. And I make a lot of money because I've built out that one profile, because I've been focused. But people come to me and say, I want to be a thought leader, because they think that that's the answer to getting clients. It really isn't. It really isn't. I wouldn't classify myself as a thought leader. I position myself appealing to a market. So why pursuing this thought leadership thing is a mistake. Let me give you an example. Now, let's say for an example, you want to become a thought leader. You want to be an industry expert. That does not mean that you're going to get sales. That does not mean you're going to get clients. Because very often what happens when we think of thought leaders, they become the clever people in their industries, the people who the industry looks up to and says they're rock solid people. Let me tell you, that's very difficult to achieve, to become one of the top dogs in an industry. But why would you want to be the top dog in an industry? Your clients don't care about your industry. Your clients don't care about your industry. You want to be influential in your client's industry, not your industry of choice. So what we think we should do is that we should put out lots of articles explaining the technology that we use better. Lots of information that helps people understand X, Y, Z, or this mindset, or this way of working. No. Think about it. For your clients to need you, they don't understand that stuff. So I was talking to somebody the other day and they said, I help people with a mindset issue. Okay. And all of their messaging was about mindset. Do you have a dodgy mindset? I'm being basic here. And guess what? Most of your clients don't know they have a mindset issue. Because if they did, they'd already be diagnosed. Every business is a medical center. People come in with injuries and sicknesses, and your medical center is trained to help people with illnesses and sicknesses in a very specific way. You've got a specific treatment, your specialists, a specific treatment for a specific set of problems. And that's what you do. Whether you're an accountant, a lawyer, a coach, a marketing consultant, you are a specialist doctor. Think of yourself like that. You're a specialist doctor. So your patients will come with very similar symptoms, very similar issues, very similar pains. They'll all be very similar. And your job is to check that they fit the treatment that you offer. That's it. That's what you do. So let's take that analogy a little further. And do not switch out from this, because this, if you get this, if you really get this, this will change the way. You will never need a marketing consultant again if you think about this, right? So if you're the specialist doctor with a specialist treatment plan, yeah, whatever you are, lawyer, accountant, consultant, marketing, social media marketing man, whatever it is, you're a doctor that treats specific symptoms, yeah, diagnoses those symptoms as the sicknesses that you fix, and prescribes the medication and the specialist treatment that you have. Let's just keep it this simple, because actually human beings are very straightforward. We make it too complicated. So when you're the specialist doctor, you don't try and bamboozle your patient with the medical terminology. You don't do that. When the doctor, right, diagnoses you with whatever, right, they'll give you the working title name, i.e., you've got a tummy bug, but they'll call it phalangelina encephalitis or whatever it is. I've just made that up. They'll call it that, right? But they'll tell you in simple terms, this is what it is, this is why it's happening, and they'll give you the straightforward terms to explain it. As a patient, right, you want a resolution to the problem. As a patient, you want to know that the doctor understands you. And as a patient, you want to know that the doctor's heard all of your symptoms and you trust the doctor. But thought leaders are the doctors who write the white papers for their industry. And they debate it and it's peer-reviewed and all that stuff. Think about it. How often do you read white papers from doctors? Do you even know if your doctor's done a white paper? Does it even play any part in your decision-making with your doctor? No, it doesn't. Thought leaders are the industry doctors, the doctors who help the industry understand their issues better. Now, if you want to be a consultant to your competitors, by all means be a thought leader. But if you want to be a great specialist doctor to paying clients, you don't want to be a thought leader. You want to be the specialist doctor, what I call the expert in demand. The person who understands the problems of the client. Big revelation for you. The more you understand the client and the more the client sees that you understand them, the more confidence they have in you as a doctor. The more you're visible talking about those treatments that you do, the more you're consistently messaging that out, the more people trust it. It's that simple. It's really so simple. Think about it, right? And I'm just going to make this real simple, right? General election campaigns, getting voted into office, yeah? Your job, if you're a solopreneur or a big business or what have you, your job is literally to win an election. Just use another analogy. You've got a key message that's got to land with your voters, the people who choose you, right? One of the reasons why election campaigns win is not manifestos. I'll tell you that now. It's not manifestos. Think about it. In the British election in 2019, yeah, it was about personality. It was about who did they like better. The direction of a whole country hinged on, did he like this person better or that person better? Think about it. The direction of a whole country rested on those real light, wafer-thin things. And I'll tell you now that the one who didn't win was probably more of a substance person than the one we got. But the one who won had a very clear message that was basically repeated, and it landed with the public, that gave the public the choice of, do I go that way or that way? And here's the crazy thing. The person who lost, Jeremy Corbyn, and I'm not a Labour supporter by any means, and I'm not going to go political here. I'm just trying to give you an example. Jeremy Corbyn, I don't necessarily agree with everything he does, but he's a man of principle. He's a man of substance. Yeah, he means what he says, whether you agree with him or not. His likability is not great, but in the election he made some amazing promises, right? And people didn't believe the promises. Yeah. Boris on the other side had the likability, he did then, he had the likability, and he had a slogan. He had a slogan. What does that say? What does that say? Well, you could say it means the public aren't good decision makers. You might be right. But what it does say to you is you are fighting an election campaign. You're fighting an election campaign, and your public, your voters, when all's said and done, right, it's about the message that lands in their minds. It's about the likability of you, and it's about the message that lands. And if you miss those things, you'll go round and round in circles trying to win an election and never get there. Yeah? So think about this. This is really important, because the things that have been holding you back in lead generation are not big things. It's not substance. It's not your skills. It's not your expertise. It's actually the way you've packaged your message, and what you do is actually knocking things off. And what will happen is, if you don't nail that, you'll keep going round trying new things after new thing after new thing after new thing, tweaking your message every time, and maybe it'll improve a little bit. But what you just got to do is nail the one message, nail it, punch through all of that noise that's out there with everybody else shouting, doing what they're doing, punch through all of that noise and say, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, this is that big promise I can deliver, these are the pains I can fix, I'm the specialist, I'm the expert in demand. Now, will that happen overnight? No. Will that transform your business in 30 days and make you 100 grand? No. And I'll say this, and I don't mean this, I love everybody who supports me on social media. I really appreciate, the people who like my posts, the people who share my content, the people who listen to this podcast. I really appreciate it. But I'm going to say something, and hopefully you hear the spirit in which I'm saying it. There are people appealing to the fact that they know you will keep going round and round in circles, and they will keep making money off you going round and round in circles. You need to stop. If you keep going onto social media and buying from these gurus, faking their wealth, and basically gaslighting you to go, well, obviously you're doing something wrong, you're not doing what I'm doing because you're poor and I'm rich. If you keep falling for that stuff, you kind of come to a point where you have to grow up, because you can't seriously think about it. If that was your friend, that guru, walking around on the beach with the laptop, with the sports car, flashing the money, I saw one the other day with a sports bag in the back of his car full of money. It's like, why would you even do that? What real world scenario would you walk around with a bag of money other than to convince other people? And you didn't get a close-up of the money because it was probably like fake money. But why are they doing that? They're doing that because they're a doctor with snake oil appealing to people with a specific problem. They're doing what you should be doing, but you can do it from a position of integrity. You can do it from a position of substance. But what they've done is they've mastered the packaging without the medication or the treatment plan. They're appealing to you because you're frustrated with up and down revenue, inconsistent, clients who don't pay properly, clients who want to pay less, where you've had feast and famine. They're appealing to all of these things that happen to these kind of businesses. And because they're showing that they've got more money than they need, they're showing you the outcome that you actually want. And so they've created a base package. I'll tell you now, by the way, most of their training you can get online for free. All they've done is made their own version of it, or they've, reproduced what you can get off the internet. When it comes to rubber hits the road, they can't help you implement it because they've never done it. They've never actually done it. They're just selling something that this looks like a great thing. Let's package it. Let's refilm it. Let's script it out and then let's refilm it and then let's sell it for $2,000 or $10,000. They've got the packaging. They've set themselves up as a specialist, appealing to the pains and the symptoms and the frustrations of a market. So they're doing what you should be doing really well. Maybe it's argument over whether they do it really well, because I don't like the chintzy money bragging crap that they do. But think about this. This is really important for you. Stop running around buying more stuff, trying new stuff. Get your message nailed. Because, for an example, when you nail your message, you can get leads. Yeah, I literally take people on a program and say, right, we're going to do it in 8 weeks. In 8 weeks, we'll do 2 weeks of training and 6 weeks of practice. We'll do it. Yeah, that's what we do. And it's interesting because people sign up and they love the learning bit, but some are afraid to implement. Some are afraid to implement. And they're so afraid to implement that it's like, actually, maybe you don't need marketing support. Maybe you don't need messaging support because I think you already know it. Maybe what you need is actually some confidence. Maybe the fear of it failing is the issue. And you're looking for an easy answer because you're afraid to put in the work and disappoint yourself. And that maybe that's why these gurus appeal to people like you, coaches, consultants, marketing, freelancers, what have you. Maybe that's it. But what I would really strongly encourage you to do is take some time and go, I need to nail this message. What am I about? And what matters to my audience? You can't build an audience without understanding what matters to them. So those points I mentioned earlier, you are a specialist. Set yourself up properly. This is what I fix. This is how I fix it. This is my methodology. These are the symptoms. And guess what? People who have those symptoms, if you understand the symptoms that your clients have to exhibit in order to need you, and some of you probably need to rewind, but I'll scroll backwards and listen to that. What are the symptoms that your clients or patients will exhibit that tells you that they need you? They need your treatment. Whether it be coaching, consulting, social media marketing, whatever. What is it? Because if you don't know it, you can't speak to it. If you can't speak to it, you can't create content that appeals to them and gets their attention and gets them interested and gets them listening to you. You can't do it. Lawyers are actually perfect candidates for this, right? Lawyers don't get people coming to them generally when there's no legal issue. They don't. Lawyers get people predominantly, 99% of the time, people who come to them when they've got a crisis, a major issue, and they need it sorted. They need it resolved. Because their clients accept that they don't know how to solve the problem. So the lawyer doesn't say, are you in breach of subsection 4 of section 3 of the Act on whatever, thought leader? That's what thought leaders do. They go, have you got a terms and conditions problem in your business? Have you got a late payment problem with a client? Have you got a contract dispute? Symptom of a legal problem that only a solicitor can resolve or a lawyer can resolve. Yet, outside of the legal world, many businesses ignore that this is why people buy. Why do people buy a coach? Is it because they go, do you know what? I've got a really bad mindset. Or is it because they keep going round and round in circles, living the same life that they don't want to live, and they want to change it, but they don't know how, they don't know why it keeps happening. They can't quite figure out why they keep making the wrong decisions. Which is it? Is it they wake up with a bad mindset and go, I must get a mindset coach? The percentage of people who do that is tiny. But if you go hunting around coaches' social media content, it's all talking to them people. You got to create your own demand. And you only create your own demand by finding the people with symptoms and diagnosing them as part of your process. Get them sat down, get them in your waiting room, see them as a patient, discovery call, and in the discovery call you can go, so is this happening? Is this happening? Yeah, I can see this is the challenge you've got, and this is how I would fix it, and this is how I can get you fit healthy. That's what a sales call should be. So when you think of yourself as a specialist doctor, you're not talking to the British Medical Journal. You're not talking to the Royal College of Doctors or whatever it's called. You're talking to patients who don't understand their situation, who can't quite articulate it, that are just suffering with symptoms. This is where you should be. Now, some of you might go, that seems all so simple. It is. And if one message and a bit of likability can get you into the highest political office in the United Kingdom, if it works there, it works for you. But the reason it might not be working for you is because you're overcomplicating it. You're trying to produce the manifesto that nobody reads. You're trying to give people loads of promises that nobody believes. You need one simple message, one strong, simple message that speaks to the real motivations of your patients. One simple message, build that likability, and you're done. You just rinse, repeat, refine. Rinse, repeat, refine. Rinse, repeat, refine. I just summed up all of sales and marketing into one thing. You're a doctor. Specialist doctor. Specialist treatment, appealing to patients with symptoms. That's it. You get that, transform your business, transform your life, take a ton of complexity out of it, and make you more successful in getting clients. I'm going to shut up now, but if you found value from this, I want you to hunt me down on social media. Yeah. If this has turned a light bulb on for you, come and tell me. I really appreciate when people come and tell me. Because obviously on podcasts, you kind of know the numbers, but you don't know who the people are. So I want you to know, if I've spoke to you today, if I've made a difference, if I've turned a light bulb on for you today, I want you to come find me on LinkedIn or Instagram and tell me you listened to it. You don't have to give me any kind of war and peace, thank you or anything. I just want to, I heard it. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Tiny percentage of people will do it, but I want to know who's heard this, who's got value from it. That's my ask from you today. And I challenge you to become the specialist doctor with a specialist treatment, treating patients with symptoms. And when you do that, you'll thank me for a long, long time if you think like that. So, go do it. Don't be a theorist. Be an implementer. Be a doer. Get it done.